There exists within your person a profound and all-consuming longing, a deep yearning that transcends the boundaries of ordinary desire. This is not merely a wish to be near you in the physical sense, though that certainly plays its part. Rather, it is a soul-deep craving to merge with you on every conceivable level of existence. Their heart aches with a yearning that goes far beyond surface attraction or fleeting infatuation. What they feel for you stems from something ancient and eternal, a connection that bridges the emotional realm and the spiritual dimension in ways that defy simple explanation. When they think of you, when your image appears in their mind's eye, they feel an overwhelming sense of homecoming. Your presence in their life, whether near or far, brings them a profound sense of comfort that nothing else can replicate. You offer them peace in moments of chaos, balance when their world tilts off its axis, and a kind of grounding that anchors their restless spirit. There is something about your energy, something ineffable and beautiful, that has the power to soothe their deepest anxieties and calm the storms that rage within their soul. You possess what can only be described as a healing touch. Your energy emanates a warmth and gentleness that wraps around their wounded places like a balm. When their mind is troubled and their heart is heavy, thoughts of you bring relief. The very essence of who you are seems to carry a medicinal quality, softening their worries, easing their burdens, and reminding them that tenderness still exists in this often harsh world. They have noticed, with growing wonder, how attuned you are to their emotional needs. It is as though your intuition operates on a frequency perfectly aligned with theirs. You seem to sense, almost supernaturally, when they need your warmth, your support, your quiet understanding. This synchronicity speaks to something deeper than coincidence. Your souls appear to recognize each other in a way that transcends verbal communication, meeting in that sacred space beyond words where true understanding resides. This recognition makes them feel profoundly seen in a way they have never experienced before. With you, they do not need to explain themselves or translate their feelings into inadequate language. You simply understand. You perceive them with clarity and acceptance, and this validation touches something so deep within them that it brings them to their emotional knees. They feel valued, witnessed, and cherished for exactly who they are, flaws and all. This kind of unconditional seeing is rare, precious, and utterly transformative. As time has passed and seasons have changed, your person has been undergoing their own internal evolution. They are learning, slowly but surely, to approach you with greater softness and tenderness. The lessons life has taught them are beginning to take root, reshaping the way they understand and express love. They are discovering that genuine love does not always announce itself through grand romantic gestures or dramatic declarations. Sometimes, love exists most powerfully in the quiet moments, in gentle understanding, in the creation of emotional safety. Love can be found in a soft word spoken at the right time, in patient listening, in showing up consistently and authentically. These realizations are changing them, molding them into someone capable of meeting you where you are with compassion and grace. Within their chest, they feel a deep and urgent need to close the physical distance that separates you. They long to bridge the gap, to connect with you more fully in the tangible world of touch and presence. But this desire for physical closeness is not rooted merely in attraction, though they are undeniably drawn to you. Rather, being near you represents something far more fundamental to their well-being. When they imagine being close to you, they imagine coming home. They envision finding that place of perfect rest where their soul can finally exhale and be at peace. They crave those sacred moments of closeness where words become unnecessary, where your mere presence is enough to communicate everything that matters. In those moments, silence speaks volumes, and the simple act of being together becomes its own language. They need time alone with you now more than ever before, sensing that such moments would provide the sanctuary their spirit desperately seeks. In the relentless chaos and noise of daily existence, your connection feels like a sacred pause, a holy intermission where both hearts can simply exist without pretense or performance. In that stillness, truth emerges and healing becomes possible. Yet they have also observed something that gives them pause and fills them with tender concern. They have noticed that when they attempt to draw closer, you sometimes become nervous, pulling back as if afraid to fully surrender to what is happening between you. Perhaps guilt whispers in your ear, telling you that you do not deserve this kind of love. Perhaps uncertainty clouds your vision, making you question whether this connection is real or wise. Perhaps fear of vulnerability keeps you protected behind walls built from past pain. Your person sees this hesitation and understands it. They do not judge you for your caution. In fact, they recognize that your guardedness comes from experiences that have wounded you, experiences that taught you to protect your tender heart. They understand because they have their own scars, their own reasons for fear. Still, despite this understanding, they remain determined to show you that it is safe to lower your defenses. They want to prove through consistent action and genuine presence that their intentions are pure and their commitment is real. They are willing to earn your trust gradually, one small step at a time, however long that process may take. They have no interest in rushing you or pressuring you to open up before you are ready. Instead, they want to create an environment of such safety and acceptance that your heart naturally begins to unfold like a flower greeting the morning sun. Despite any hesitation that exists between you, despite the uncertainty and the fear, they remain absolutely steadfast in their desire to reconnect with you. Their heart is single-mindedly dedicated to finding its way back to yours. Even when progress feels painfully slow, even when doubt creeps in and whispers that perhaps this connection is not meant to be, they keep moving steadily in your direction. There is a quiet determination in them, an unshakable belief that what you share together is worth every ounce of effort, every moment of patience, every risk of vulnerability it takes to rebuild something meaningful from whatever fragments remain. Deep in the marrow of their being, they feel with absolute certainty that your connection serves a purpose far greater than either of you can fully comprehend. You are not together merely for a fleeting romance or a temporary spark that will burn bright and then fade to ash. There is something profoundly spiritual about the way your energies intertwine and dance together. Something about your union pushes both of you toward growth, toward healing, toward evolution into the highest versions of yourselves. This connection acts as a catalyst, revealing shadow aspects that need light, triggering healing that needs to happen, and calling forth potential that has long remained dormant. As your person continues to grow more comfortable with their authentic self, they are discovering that genuine love cannot be forced or rushed into bloom. It must be given the time and space to unfold naturally, organically, in its own divine timing. They are learning to trust the mysterious timing of the universe, to surrender their need for control, and to allow your paths to wind toward each other when the moment is truly right. This newfound sense of peace and surrender has made them more grounded, more mature, more capable of holding space for complexity and uncertainty. They no longer feel the desperate need to control outcomes or manipulate circumstances. They simply want to nurture the bond you share and see where this sacred journey leads. At the same time, their feelings for you contain multitudes. They feel both protective and passionate, both tender and intense. They want to shield you from pain, to stand between you and anything that might harm you. Yet they also feel an undeniable fire burning in their chest whenever thoughts of you cross their mind. The connection they experience with you achieves a rare balance between gentleness and intensity, between peaceful comfort and passionate desire. This combination is unusual, precious, and it only grows stronger with each passing day. To them, a new beginning between you is not merely a hopeful possibility. It feels inevitable, written in the stars, encoded in the fabric of destiny itself. They sense it in the deepest chambers of their heart, in those quiet moments just before sleep when they think of you and feel you thinking of them across whatever distance separates you. They feel their energy reaching out for yours even from afar, sensing your presence in ways that logic cannot explain. This knowing transcends rational thought. It exists in the realm of soul truth, where certainty needs no evidence. But this distance that stretches between you has begun to wear on them in ways that grow harder to bear. They are exhausted by the silence, tired of the unspoken words that hang in the air like ghosts. They long to break through the ice that has formed, to finally express what has been weighing so heavily on their heart and mind. There is a truth they have been carrying, something they have wanted to say but did not know how to articulate. Perhaps they feared rejection if they spoke their heart openly. Perhaps they were uncertain whether you felt even a fraction of what they feel. Yet now the longing has swelled to such intensity that it can no longer be ignored or suppressed. They are ready to open their heart completely and be vulnerable with you, even if doing so means risking everything they hold dear. When they allow themselves to truly think about you without reservation, they experience a deep sense of knowing that this connection is fundamentally different from anything they have encountered before. This is not something they can casually walk away from, nor do they have any desire to do so. They feel as though they have crossed some invisible threshold, reached a point of no return where every step forward only deepens their commitment to you and to the potential of what you could build together. You have become an essential, irreplaceable part of their emotional landscape, someone who has awakened dormant parts of their soul they did not even know existed within them. Through knowing you and loving you, they have learned what it truly means to feel connected to another human being. They have experienced what it is like to share energy, emotion, and spirit on a level that defies logical explanation. You have shown them dimensions of love and connection they had only imagined existed, and now that they have tasted this depth, they cannot return to shallower waters. You have ruined them for anyone else in the most beautiful way possible. Your person envisions a future painted in colors of hope and possibility, a future where the two of you can finally meet each other with completely open hearts, free from fear and hesitation. They imagine conversations flowing with honesty and vulnerability, laughter bubbling up naturally, dreams being shared and woven together. They want to heal the wounds of the past alongside you and build something lasting and true on that healed foundation. They have no desire to rush you or apply pressure that would make you uncomfortable. Instead, they want to cultivate a space where love can grow at its own pace, naturally and authentically. They understand that true connection requires time to develop, patience to nurture, and trust to sustain. But they are willing to give all of that and infinitely more. In the sanctuary of their heart, your person holds an unshakable belief that your story is far from over. It is not ending but rather transforming, shape-shifting, preparing for a new chapter where both of you emerge stronger, wiser, and more deeply aligned with your true selves and with each other. They are ready to step courageously into that new beginning with radical honesty, with bravery, and with unwavering devotion. And as they continue moving closer to you physically, emotionally, and spiritually, they hope with every fiber of their being that you will feel it too. That undeniable magnetic pull. That familiar warmth that feels like recognition. That quiet but powerful truth whispering persistently that you and they are meant to find your way back to each other, that your souls made an agreement long before your bodies met in this lifetime. I keep trying desperately to convince myself that I have moved on, that I have successfully left you behind somewhere in the dusty archives of my past, that the memories we created together no longer have the power to stir anything inside my carefully guarded heart. I tell myself repeatedly that I am over it, over you, over us. I insist to myself that I do not miss you, that what we shared was merely a fleeting chapter in the grand novel of my life, nothing more significant than that. Every morning I wake with renewed determination to start fresh, to bury my inconvenient emotions beneath layers of logic and endless distraction. I tell myself that I am perfectly fine, that the persistent ache in my chest is just exhaustion or stress accumulated from daily life, not the remnants of something deeper and more profound. I try with all my willpower to suppress all my feelings, to push them forcefully into the farthest, darkest corners of my heart, pretending as if nothing of consequence ever happened between us. But no matter how hard I try to convince myself otherwise, no matter how many times I repeat these lies to myself in the mirror, deep down in the place where truth lives, I know I am lying. I know I am performing an elaborate fiction for my own benefit. Because the undeniable truth is this loneliness consumes me in ways I cannot even begin to describe adequately. There are certainly moments when I laugh genuinely with friends or celebrate life's small victories with others, moments when it almost feels like I have successfully reclaimed my old self, the person I was before you. I tell myself in those brief windows of lightness that this must be what healing looks like. I convince myself that smiling through the pain, surrounding myself with people, and filling every moment of my life with noise so that I never have to face the deafening silence that follows when I am alone, that this must be progress. But it never lasts long. Just when I start to feel genuinely okay, just when I begin to believe I might actually be moving forward, I hear your voice echoing in the back of my mind. That soft, familiar tone that once brought me such comfort and joy suddenly appears uninvited, and in an instant everything I have built crumbles to dust. I lose it all in a heartbeat. The laughter fades like morning mist. The joy disappears as though it never existed. And I find myself standing alone in the wreckage of my own elaborate pretense, haunted by memories I foolishly thought I had buried deep enough that they could not rise again. I crave you more intensely than I would ever like to admit out loud. It is not just the physical closeness I miss, though I would be lying if I said I did not long for your touch. What I miss is everything. I miss the way you looked at me when you thought I was not paying attention, those unguarded moments when your eyes revealed truths your words never spoke. I miss the way your presence could calm the chaos that constantly swirls inside me like a storm. I miss the way our energies seem to align effortlessly, as though we were two instruments perfectly tuned to play the same melody. Nothing in my life excites me anymore the way you did. Even the things I used to genuinely love, music that once moved me to tears, late night drives under starlit skies, quiet mornings filled with possibility, all of these have lost their spark and shine. They all remind me of you in some way, and so they have become bittersweet at best, painful at worst. I feel empty, hollowed out, as though a vital part of me went missing when you left, and I have been wandering aimlessly ever since, trying desperately to fill that gaping void with things that never quite measure up to what I lost. I have always struggled profoundly to express my love and emotions openly. I hold them in tightly, afraid that if I let them spill out freely, they will be too much for others to handle, too raw and unfiltered, too vulnerable and exposed. Maybe that tendency is part of the problem between us. I thought silence would protect me, that holding everything inside would somehow make it easier to move on and leave the past behind. But all it accomplished was building impenetrable walls around my heart, trapping me inside my own self-imposed loneliness, isolated from the very connection I crave most. I have realized now with painful clarity that I cannot keep running from this connection indefinitely. No matter how far I go, no matter how hard I try to distract myself with work or hobbies or other people, there exists an invisible thread that keeps pulling me inexorably back to you. It is as if the universe itself keeps finding creative ways to remind me that you are still a part of me, woven into the fabric of my being, and that what we share is not something that time or distance can simply erase like chalk on a sidewalk. I have been telling myself that putting myself first is the right thing to do, the healthy choice. That focusing exclusively on my own healing means staying away from you and the complicated feelings you evoke. But lately, I have started to see with uncomfortable clarity that maybe I misunderstood entirely what it truly means to put myself first. Because ignoring my deepest truth, pretending I do not care when I care desperately, denying what my soul knows and feels, that is not self-love at all. That is self-denial, self-betrayal even. And the more forcefully I resist what is real, the more intensely it hurts. Each time I push you away in my mind, each time I try to convince myself you mean nothing to me, I feel a deep ache spreading through my heart like a bruise. I have been trying to convince myself that detachment equals peace, that emotional distance is the path to healing. But it has not brought me peace at all. It has only brought numbness, a gray fog where vibrant color used to be. Maybe this is what people mean when they speak in hushed, reverent tones about the twin flame journey. The relentless push and pull. The longing that feels like it might tear you apart. The separation that feels unbearable yet somehow necessary for growth. I have read that twin flames mirror each other's souls with frightening accuracy, that the ultimate purpose of the connection is not simply romance but profound transformation. If that is true, then perhaps this pain serves a higher purpose. Perhaps it is teaching me to courageously face the parts of myself I have always skillfully avoided confronting. The fear of abandonment that has shaped so many of my choices. The resistance to vulnerability that keeps me isolated. The persistent illusion of control that I cling to desperately. Maybe loving you is forcing me to grow in ways I never imagined possible, stretching me beyond the comfortable boundaries I had established for my heart.